Welcome back, Witches and Wizards. Today I'm going to be telling the story, actually this is going to be two stories that took place in Florida when I was a kid. And both times I joke about how I could have died during these times. And I was a kid. The first one, not so much. The second one, very much so. I got very lucky. The first one was when I was swimming and I saw dorsal fins. And I was like, oh, cool, dolphins. So, me being a dumb little kid, I decided I was going to go swim with some dolphins. So I started swimming out, and as I got close to them, I was actually pretty close. I was probably about 2 yards away when I stopped, and I realized that the way that these dorsal fins were moving was not in the way that dolphins move their dorsal fin. What they were doing was that they were up, and they were kind of swaying side to side. Now, I, as a kid, along with my sister Goop, we loved watching Animal Planet. So we would always watch stuff about animals. We loved it so much. And when we were in Florida, we were just like, yeah, we're going to watch all these ocean stuff. And when I was watching the dorsal fins moving side to side, I stopped and I realized that's not how dolphins move. A dolphin's dorsal fin would be going up and down, up and down. But what I was seeing was side to side. So, and I was pretty close to them, and there was a bunch of them. There was probably about like 5 to 10 dorsal fins that I was seeing. So I was like, oh, these aren't dolphins. These are sharks. And I'm really close to them. So I was like, what should I do? Well, not go crazy, because the Animal Planet channel would always say, if you're swimming with sharks, don't act crazy, because then they'll be like, ooh, what's that? And then they'll come and investigate. So I was like, okay, so I started swimming slowly back, and I saw to the left of me more dorsal fins, and these ones were going up and down. And I was like, wait a second, those ones are dolphins, because they're going up and down. Those are dolphins. And Animal Planet taught me that dolphins will attack sharks if they get too close. So I was like, okay, if I get close to these dolphins, then I have a less likely chance of having the sharks attacking me. So I swam closer to the dolphins. I didn't swim with the dolphins because I was like, I need to get out of here right now, because I don't want to be in the water with sharks. So I got close to the dolphins, and then I started swimming back towards shore. So I was like, okay, I was a dumb kid. I almost got myself killed because I decided I was going to go swim with some dolphins that turned out to be sharks. But I always follow up that story with, and that's how TV saved my life. Because if I hadn't been watching Animal Planet religiously with my sister, I wouldn't have known these facts and registered that these are not dolphins. They are, in fact, sharks. I do want to take this time to let people know that my analytics are showing that only about 31.5% of you guys are actually subscribed when you guys watch my videos. So I would very much appreciate it if you guys could subscribe and share my videos. Alright, now to the second story. This story is a bit more serious when it comes to me almost dying in Florida. This one also, again, takes place in the ocean. Probably was about 10 or 11 years old when this happened. I was out in the ocean, and my eldest sister and our dad were in the ocean as well. My grandparents were in the condo, but I was out in the ocean, and I had a boogie board, and I had it strapped to my leg. A boogie board is a thick board that's usually foam or other materials like foam or foam or styrofoam. And basically it's almost like surfing, but instead of standing on the board, you lay on your tummy. And because I am not coordinated or skilled or have the courage to actually do surfing, I was boogie boarding. And I was out in the ocean. I'm a very strong swimmer. Like, I swam competitively in high school, and I'm the strongest swimmer in my family. When I was out swimming and boogie boarding, it was a pretty windy day, so there were some waves going, and it was a lot of fun, and I loved it. And there was this really big wave coming, and I was like, I'm going to ride that wave. So I got ready. The wave took me up, and I was at the top of the wave, the crest. And it was so cool. I was so up high. I was actually kind of getting a little scared because I have a slight fear of heights, and I was like, oh god, this is really high. And I am going to say, this is the only time in my life that I've actually blacked out, besides when I had jaw surgery a few years later where they put me under. But that's with medicine, like, you know, chemicals and stuff like that, they put you under. This is the first time, and the only time so far, that I've actually blacked out. What happened was I was on the top of the wave and I felt water between me and my board. And I looked down, there was water between me and my board. I was like, oh. And the moment I realized that that had happened, all of a sudden I fell off, like I fell forward. So I was at the top of the wave and then I was falling forward into the wave. So the wave was going to catch me and I landed in the water and I blacked out the moment I was falling into the water. And the next thing I remembered was waking up on shore, and I don't know if it was a few seconds or a minute, I don't know, but I woke up on shore. My boogie board was in front of me, like it was still attached to my leg by a strap, and it was in front of me. I was facing the condo away from the ocean, and I got up and I was like, what happened? I was so confused. And I was like, my shoulder really, really hurts, as I'm like trying to get back to where my blanket was and where our bags were on the condo deck. And I was like, my shoulder really hurts. So I went and I took it was my left shoulder that was hurting. I took my right hand and I put it on my shoulder, and it felt weird. And so I took my hand off and I looked at my hand and it was covered in blood. I was like, oh, that's not good. And I was like, my head really hurts too. So I was about to put my right hand that was covered in blood in my hair. I was like, no, okay, I shouldn't do that because then I can't tell if it's actually blood. I took my left hand, which had no blood, and I put it where it hurt, and I was feeling my head, and I was like, I don't feel a bump, but then I took my hand off, and there was blood. I was like, oh dear Lord, this is not good. And I had sand in my mouth, my ears, my nose, in my eyes, shells everywhere. I was a mess. And so, like, I was in pain and the sudden shock of, like, I am actually hurt. I'm looking around. I can't see my sister or my dad who are in the ocean. I couldn't see them out there. And so panic set in. I was crying. This woman who was on the deck saw me crying, and she runs towards me. And she goes, oh my gosh, are you okay? And I'm just like, I don't know what happened. I'm hurt, and I don't know where my family is. And I'm, being a hysterical little kid. And she takes me and she goes, where's your stuff? And I'm like, here's my blanket, there's my towel. And so I'm sitting on the chair with my towel, and she goes, where's your family? I'm like, well, my dad and sister are out in the ocean. I don't know where they are. I can't see them. And she goes, is there anybody else? And I said, my Nana I know is in the condo. And I said, she's in room 203. And the woman's like, okay, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to go and get her and I'll bring her back down for you. And I'm like, thank you so much. And I'm like, so upset, and I'm saying thank you. And she goes, stay right here. And she leaves. About 5 minutes later, I'm thinking to myself, something's not right. I'm like, it doesn't take that long. Like, we're not that far away from where the condos are, and it's not going to take that long to get to the second floor. And that's when I realized, second floor? We're on the third floor. I said 203. We're staying in 303. Oh my gosh. So I'm panicking, going, I just sent this woman who is trying to help me. I sent her to the wrong apartment. And if anyone's in that apartment, she's going to knock and say, hey, your granddaughter or, one of your kids is seriously hurt on the deck. But she didn't come back. So I was like really confused. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just got up and just slowly made my way to our condo on floor 3. It was 303. And I knock on the door because I'm a kid. I don't have a key. I knock on the door. My Nana answers. She looks at me and she goes, what happened? And I explained everything to her, and I went and I took a shower. I almost drowned because what happened was when I fell off the top of the wave, I had fallen into the shallow part of the shoreline, like the water, where it's not that deep. And so what happened was I fell. Had I been a bit further away, or if the boogie board was not attached to my foot, I would have been sucked into the undertow. Because what happened was I fell off the top of the wave. I hit the bottom of the ocean. Technically, it was the bottom of the ocean. I had banged my head, and that's what caused me to black out. And that's why I was bleeding from my head. And I had been dragged slightly, and that's why my back was all scratched up. It was like a large chunk of my shoulder, back of my shoulder was all scratched up because I was being dragged along the bottom of the ocean across rocks, shells, and sand. And because the boogie board was in front of me when I washed up on shore, that meant that it had washed me up on shore. So if I wasn't attached to my boogie board that was staying buoyant above the water, and if I was a bit further back, I would have been sucked into the undertow and dragged out into the ocean, and I would have drowned. So that one was very lucky. Like, I was extremely lucky in that situation. But I always laugh about me being dumb, probably concussed, talking about being on floor 2 when I was actually on floor 3 and sending this poor woman to go out and get help from me, and I sent her on a wild goose chase. I felt so bad, and I never saw that woman again, and I couldn't apologize to her because I never saw her again. I totally forgot what she looked like because, again, I'm concussed and I'm also an idiot. And I felt so bad. To this day, I still feel very bad. So those are the 2 stories about how I almost died in Florida. I went swimming with sharks, wild sharks, and then I almost drowned. Still love Florida. I still want to, I haven't gone back in years, and I want to go back. I really do, but I'm gonna have to wait until this Rona situation is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell for future notifications. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!